the World Baseball Classic just finished up. And of course, you know, I would categorize this as a massive success for baseball here. You have this massive competition spanning the entire baseball world, all the way from whether it's Asia, the Caribbean, the United States. Everyone got a piece of it, not just from being a team, but being able to go and be supporters. To go and have games hosted there is just such a massive thing for the sport, for the brand. And overall, I think baseball or the World Baseball Classic, everyone running it, did a great job of making this a success and easily was the biggest event of the year so far and might be one of the biggest events all year.
Yeah, and I think the most important stat that I saw was that the semifinal, Cuba versus Japan, was, or sorry, it was Mexico in the semifinal versus Japan. That was the second most watched baseball game ever, and the final, USA versus Japan, which we're going to get to next, was the most watched baseball game ever. So in terms of growing the sport, getting people involved, and really the young audience is what the main focus is here, because we're always talking about growing the game, and it starts with the younger audience. As baseball is one of the only sports whose average audience is the age goes up year after year, and that's obviously not good for the future health of the sport. So I just think it's an amazing event. To be fully invested in it like I was this year, not saying I wasn't in 2017, but I was a lot younger, didn't have a
It
real.
was different. And
Yeah,
the tournament was different then, too.
right, yeah. Um,
Here we are in a situation where, especially compared to 2017 or any of the ones that came before, the star power was just different. I mean, I know you wanted to talk about here the Dominican Republic and their disappointments, but whether or no matter what you think about their actual performance, you have to respect the fact that everybody showed up for them. Everybody showed up for South Korea. Everybody showed up for Team Japan. Almost every single position player you could have asked for from the United States made their way onto this team too. There is a clear there's a clear show of dedication and a responsibility of service to your country that's shown in a lot of these countries, and it's taken a next level here with the World Baseball Classic this year. That's what made things so special.
yeah, absolutely. And I'll touch on the my little thing with the Dominican Republic now. Probably the biggest failure of the tournament. They were the odds-on favorite heading into the tournament to win. They don't even make it out of their group, as they go 2-2 in what I was kind of calling the group of death. Uh, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic all in the same group. I don't like. I do understand with the Soccer World Cup, there's always one of those groups that is like some really good team is going to get left out, and then another team that's talent wise not as good in another group is going to get through. I get that, but I feel like there could have been a better way to organize the groups. Just in my opinion, I don't know. I feel like.
I just don't like see it. I mean, just not because there shouldn't be, because you are 100% right. This is more than a group of death. Getting those three teams together shouldn't have happened based on talent.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like talent wise, I want to see the best teams playing in the knockout round, just because that's when more people are going to be watching
But
anyways.
the issue here, Brandon, is the fact that we don't have the same robust international culture in baseball as we do in soccer. In soccer, every single FIFA level national team is ranked into the 200s. Like, they have that data. They're able to, while it's not always the best system, mathematically calculate what the wins and losses and quality of win and quality of loss mean for these teams to get them into some sort of ballpark. Again, it's not the end all be all, but it's a ballpark of where these teams are. If you're a top 8 or top 10 country, or a top 8 or a top 10 country, inside there it kind of, it gets muddled. But for the most part, it gets them into the right positions to be able to put together groups. Whereas with baseball, all you have is last year's the last World Baseball Classic. you don't have the data that's required to be able to adequately rank these people unless it's incredibly subjective from a committee. And when have we ever seen that work well?
Yeah, that is true. And I'm going to push back a little because we did see in the 2021 Olympics there was baseball in that. And while it wasn't of course the same level of players because it took place like during the middle of the MLB season, we still got a USA Japan gold medal game, which Japan ended up winning. Little foreshadowing for this World Baseball Classic, I guess. But yeah, it is a good comparison though, because in soccer, there's a lot of other tournaments. The team more or less stays the same in these international like friendlies and other tournaments that they're trying to
You get at
qualify
least
for.
10 matches a year, no matter what.
Right. Yeah. Whereas in this, it's, next World Baseball Classic isn't until 2026. We'll have qualifiers, sure, but that's not the biggest indicator. So I do agree, but more on the Dominican Republic, and I guess, I mean, for the talent that they had, it was pretty surprising for them to only win 2 games. But I will say that the Dominican Republic versus Puerto Rico, winner goes home. Winner advances, loser goes home. That was an awesome game, and that was just something that you could tell from the beginning how crazy the crowd was in Miami, and really the crowds throughout the entire tournament were fantastic. Every
Miami,
game
man.
felt like Game 7 of the World Series times 100. Uh, the one game elimination, and especially in the knockout round, and then we did see it, of course, with the DR versus the PR. It's just seeing how far some of these players go. I love just seeing the effort in the one game elimination. Everything feels like Game 7. The managers having to pull pitchers early just because they don't know what to do. I mean, it's desperate times call for a desperate measures. It's an awesome format. The like I said, my only gripe was really with how Pool D was with Venezuela, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican all in the same group. But end of the day, one of the really good teams was going to get left out. We saw South Korea didn't even advance through the group stage either, which was surprising to a lot of people as well.